Impaja presents the Alice Springs Turf Club Red Centre Racing Review.
Yes, it's a good evening to you all and welcome to the Red Centre Racing Review. I'm your host, Pat Comerford, and what a pleasure it is to be here in the hot seat kicking off this wonderful show, providing you all you need to know about the upcoming meeting here at Ladbrokes Pioneer Park and all the crucial info over the massive carnival days ahead. Alice Springs Racing this Saturday, the 9th of March, will entail a 5-race fixture containing an open handicap dash over 1,000 metres, a benchmark 54 1100, a Trobus Maiden plate over 1,200 metres, along with 2 races over 1,400, a 0 to 64 and a benchmark 76. We have a total of 46 acceptors across 5 races. Rail is in the true position, DR is the code. Forecast looks fantastic for Saturday's meeting as well. Sunny and 39 for Alice Springs. Light winds, east to southeasterly, upwards of 20 kilometres an hour throughout the afternoon and into the evening. This meeting is our annual Feds Race Day, a day put on by federal sports clubs in Alice Springs to raise money for a wide range of causes, from local families in need to the Queensland flood victims. We wish them a very successful day and hope to see plenty of people down at the course getting involved and donating to some wonderful causes. The barriers start at the 1,200 metre mark for our maiden race this weekend. Let's have a look into race number 1. The first is an interesting race to kick off proceedings. The Petrick Stables saddle up 2 runners, one in particular Liberty's Torch, who has hands down got to be one of the most unlucky horses in the top end over the last few months. An unfortunate gear malfunction last start caused this horse to lay out on the corner at Fanny Bay, and thankfully for both the rider Paul Denton and his horse, which was previously in the care of well-known Victorian trainer Robbie Griffiths, both were all okay. My numbers for the first race are 8, 1, 7 and 3. I've gone with Hurricane for the Lisa Whittle stable here in the first. Its run home last start at a price was beyond impressive. It looks like it either needs distance or a fast run maiden over the last few runs, and it finally got some early race speed last start to suit. I expect the speed from Liberty's Torch will stretch this field out, which could get this horse what it's looking for once again. Now, Liberty's Torch is my second pick, the top weight. Its front-running performance that I'm expecting in this race could literally run this field off their feet. Kummerlings is in for third, an impressive second last start, but has been run on speed, and I think it needs to be given a chance to get back and run on to get the best out of it. And for fourth, I've thrown in Whitworth. It certainly hasn't been disgraced here, and every run at Pioneer Park, getting used to the track, it will improve even more. The numbers once again, 8 on top from 1, 7 and 3. Race 2 is the Club Eastside Handicap, a benchmark 54 over 1,100 metres with a total of 9 acceptors. It's an interesting race, this second of the day. A few lower rated horses returning that initially you could just put your line straight through them on the form guide. Shining Mane will certainly be worth a watch and will probably head this field with Remember Razor. But I think Exert is certainly one to watch. Its first up form of 6 starts with 3 wins, 1 second is a massive achievement on the horse's behalf, and it will be sporting the Cystic Fibrosis Awareness colours this weekend. It should settle just off the lead, and the race doesn't contain much early pace, so this could be a great spot. Once again, I have to support the leader after its performance last start in Shining Mane as my second selection. Cleese first up goes in for third. It looks a danger regardless of the 61.5 kilos that it will have to lug the journey. And finally, on recent efforts, I can't leave out Remember Razor, which we know will be up there early, with it drawing 7 and Shining Mane coming out of 6, carting it into the race early from the jump. My numbers once again for the second, 7, 5, 1 and 4. The third is a 1,000 metre dash, an open handicap, which contains some promising runners for the bigger sprint races in the weeks ahead and is our feature race of the afternoon. 11 runners at this point in time will take to the course for race number 3, plenty of whom are first up, including Roycey, who's back from its spell in Victoria, Evil Miss, Quantum Dot, 18 Bombers, Override and Hillbilly Rich, the 10-year-old, all first up after spells. Rembrandt and Jack and Ori are coming off victories last start, and a few both fresh and second up are certainly knocking on the door for a win. I have the number 3 on top here from 1, 5 and 4. First up over 1,000, despite being a very open race, I'd be entrusting my money with Lock the Doors. It's never run out of the money over the 1,000 here, with 3 of its 5 starts, track and distance, being wins. Its first up form is solid, and with this open field, although I still think he'll start on terms with Jackanory in the market, you might get a little more give in the price. Jackanory in for second. It's one of Alice Springs' most lucrative sprinters. It was runner-up in the sprint last year and a big chance to go one better than that this year. Kaleem is in for third. It loves 1,000 metres and will improve on its first run, which allowed it to experience the softer track here in Central Australia. And finally, Iceflow in for fourth. I'm unsure how it will go here, as it usually prefers 1,200, but this horse wasn't disgraced last start and could surprise over the shorter trip of 1,000 metres. 3-1-5 followed by 4. The barriers head back to the 1,400 metre marker for the remainder of the meeting. Our first of 2 races over the distance being the 0 to 64, compiling a full field of 12 starters at this current time as well. This race could be a very good indication of which bottom-end horses we may see moving up in not only grade next week, but in distance as well, to target victory in the infamous St Patrick's Day Cup over the mile at next Sunday's meeting. My numbers for this race are 7, 6, 1 and 4. In the fourth, I've gone with Chima. It had a flawless preparation for this campaign, which was highlighted by its trial victory a fortnight ago. It certainly wasn't disgraced as well in its first start over 1,200 metres last meeting, but going off its history, it has never really been one to win fresh. It pushes out to the 1,400 here, which is a positive. It also carries only 54.5 kilograms. Chima draws 7 of 12, which gives it plenty of option for it to find a position in the run to suit. I have it on top from American Star, who we know from its last 2 runs will pilot this field and will certainly be the one they're chasing down on the final corner. It's been beaten in the last couple of strides both times, so I do expect it to be in the finish this start as well. Allspice is my third selection. This gelding gets out to its preferred distance this weekend. It's also coming off a 3-week freshen up, and in for fourth as well is Lindwall, who, although debuts here in Alice Springs, has been sent down here to the Gillette stable by top-end trainer Carl Spry off a courageous second last start in Darwin. It is certainly another watch. 7 on top from 6, 1 and 4. The lucky last is a benchmark 76 handicap, a field of 6 which includes our 2018 Cup winner and runner-up. Yes, Ash Gray and Perricini once again ramp up their campaigns towards 2,000 metres and meet some nice competition this weekend in the final race for the afternoon. This race includes everything from well-accomplished runners, horses on their way up the grades, as well as others returning to the track, some of whom are 1,400 metre specialists. For this last race, I've gone the way of rising star Jack Sim. A stablemate of Perricini, Jack Sim blew away the competition last start in a 3.8 length victory over 1,200 metres. The 200 metre increase in distance this weekend, if anything, should only improve the horse's capabilities, and although this is by far the toughest company it has ever faced, I am willing to have the 5-year-old gelding and its rider Paul Denton on top for the last. I also have Dune Buggy in for second, with the belief that we could expect a big run home by the notorious back marker first up over the distance. We have seen it salute 7 times here at Pioneer Park over the 1,400. Ash Gray is my third selection, who is second up this weekend and certainly impressed over 1,100 in its first race for 2019. And in for fourth is McKenna, who has a nice record over the track and distance and could surprise them all. 3, 5, 1 and 4. It's now time for best bets. Heading into our best bets for the day, and I'm willing to stick with Exert first up at a price in race number 2. I'm hoping to see this horse not open as favourite and give the punters some juicy overs early in the betting at least. As for some each-way value, I'm really not convinced we saw Chima in full force first up. Once again, it doesn't usually win fresh or second up for that matter, but with 54.5 on its back, hopefully it opens up at enough of a price to be worth a small wager each way in the 4th race of the day. Well, that's all we have for you today. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope to see you on course or tuning in across the country on the red and blue channels. As always, please gamble responsibly, and we'll catch you next week for another edition of the Red Centre Racing Review.